A spark ignited, a boom echoed, and then the most divine scream I'd ever heard over the fence. Vanessa Reed, my narcissistic neighbor, wailing as if her designer boots were aflame. Technically, it was her son's ATV charger burning, and technically, she'd earned it. You don't appropriate power from an electrical engineer and ride for nothing. Not after I told her so. Not after the HOA ignored me. And by no means, not after she laughed and said, "It's just a little juice, chill out." Oh, I chilled out. All right, I chilled out by lighting up her backyard with so much voltage that her knockoff ATV began to behave like a barbecue grill. But let's go back. You need the entire story of how we ended up at this electric karmic masterpiece. Because it didn't start with sparks. It started with a tiny blip on my energy monitor. I'm Ethan Carter, not just some guy with a toolbox and ad grudge. I'm a systems engineer who designs power grids for data centers. Electricity is my playground, so when my solar inverter said there were bizarre drains, when no one was around, I thought most wouldn't. But I'm wired differently. I live in a sleepy suburb where neighbors boast manicured lawns and organic mulch. I'm a loner tuning my home system, watching for idiosyncrasies. That week I saw it every night, 1 to 3 a.m., a 1.88 quad hours, drop that my machines couldn't match. Not the AC, not the hot tub, not the battery backup. Something outside my house was bleeding. That was when I started suspecting Vanessa, the power vampire neighbor. You know the type, oversized shades, a megaphone voice, zero respect for boundaries. She'd moved in 2 years ago, post-divorce, bring chaos, brunch hangovers, HOA rule skirting. She in some way evaded her sport, enacting block rules, wielding the HOA as a scepter. She'd previously scolded a child for skateboarding near her roses. Recently, she'd targeted an electric all-terrain vehicle for her teenager. Roar gaudy and power greedy, I first saw the hint when pruning bushes, a yellow extension cord snaking over my fence, vanishing behind my shed. No chance I thought I had no external outlets there, unless she wouldn't. That evening, I flipped off all exterior breakers but one. Next morning, the log plunged at 2:12 a.m. I walked along the fence cord retracted, but I'd snap pics, time to talk. I rang her bell serene, hoping it was a mistake. She answered wearing leggings and sun hat, clutching a smoothie like a suburban monarch. I said the drain asked if her son had tapped my power. She smiled, "Oh, that yeah. We borrowed a little charge. Our garage panel's down. You've got solar right. You won't miss it." "That's not how it works," I told her. "It's theft and it messes with my grid." She patted my arm. "Relax, tech guy. It's not like we're hot wiring your car." I stormed off, fuming gears turning. I complained to the HOA. They agreed to investigate 3 days later. I got a letter scolding me about hostile neighbor behavior and unsafe fence mods. Vanessa had flipped it, saying I'd dangerous traps to electrify her family. Stunned, I dropped defense. She'd jacked into my world game on. She didn't know who she'd provoked. I've built backup grids for hospitals from scraps and coffee. She knew I was a nerd with panels. She didn't know I'd joyride her bonfire. That night I drew a trap, a decoy outlet, legal safe but brutal to overeager chargers. I set it up on my side, slumped to look deserted, wired into a surge circuit. It would incinerate everything consuming over 3 amps. Household equipment, safe, ATV charger, maledict, I cursed. 3 evenings elapsed, the cord returned. At 2:17 a.m., my log reached its climax. A blue spark lit my shed. A pop could be heard, and Vanessa's shriek ruptured the quiet. Her pajama-clad son burst forth agape as his ATV spewed smoke. I smiled wide as wafer-thin. This was only the start. Morning brought Vanessa storming around, yelling about sabotage, calling officials. I drank coffee, watching from my window. The cord vanished, the ATV tarped like evidence she never learned. She escalated an HOA toady. Miles showed up clipboard and tow. "You can't repair outlets on shared lines," he growled, citing rules Vanessa had twisted. I explained that it was my property. Code compliant. I did not say the surge loop. "Safe for people, fatal to thieves?" He scribbled, muttering about reviews. I offered him a muffin. He declined it. She doubled down so I'd step up. Not petty, but precise. I upgraded the trap, installed a data logger and a birdhouse. notifying my phone to draws, triggering spikes if thresholds are met. I set up cameras, shed her yard fence, all cloud-backed. I dangle the decoy cord rigged to fry if pulled. 4 nights later, 1:42 a.m., alerts, 2.7 quad hours, surge tripped. The feed had a flash, a spark. The ATV wheezing smoke. Her son thrashed, unplugging too late. Twice now, all recorded, I took screenshots to the HOA. Clara, the desk clerk, stared. She plugged in without asking. Twice, check Section 8, B utility theft. I informed her, she glared. Vanessa had allies, cut off access. Points to calm down. She informed Clara, this HOA catches mailbox hues, but not her taking. I can go off-road for months. I don't need your regulations. Enforce them, or I'm going to take this to the city. She booked me. I departed that night. Vanessa pounded on my door, furious. What did you do to my ATV? No idea, I informed her. Your son's traumatized, maybe avoid stealing power. She threatened to sue. I flashed my logs and shut the door. She didn't knock again, but I knew she'd bite back. 3 days later, a cop officer, Hayes, arrived. She'd accused me of setting a death trap. I walked him through footage, logs, schematics, safe legal thief proof. He laughed, theft plain and simple. You're good. As he left, Vanessa glared from across the street. Daring me, I stayed calm. Bigger moves in the works. The HOA issued a $500 fine for hazardous installs. I retorted with photos and videos and CCD, and the city and utility board. Then neighbors approached us. Luke Fancy Grill, Ellen Waver. The Patel's caterers had experienced bizarre power dips. Luke's refrigerator warmed up during the night. Ellen's lights rebooted. The Patels lost a freezer. Did Vanessa ask to plug into your outlets? Bingo, they'd all been through it. We sat down over coffee and watched my tapes and laughed and invented Chocolade 23 members by evening. She tapped half the block, garden ports, RV hookups. We locked outlets, put decoys at the HOA meeting. We rolled in with evidence. Vanessa deflected, exaggeration, jealousy. But Neil, her friend, squirmed. We showed Bill's logs. Her ATV carried costs. She shrieked about community power. The room erupted. Neil couldn't save her. Her privileges were suspended. Fines threatened. It escalated. Her parties went on pilfered juice lights. Fridges, karaoke. I sent data to the utility board. 3,000 quad hours stolen, $1,800 owed. They opened an investigation. She dismissed their inspection notice, earning a subpoena. Neighbors cheered vindication. The HOA ousted cronies who voted in Gina, a firefighter who banned utility theft. Flat out, Vanessa's lawn fell silent. ATV parties sold dead. Her son mowing grass. She was chastened. She tried to make amends wearing flowers in a brass tracksuit playing tunes. Nobody nipped. One day she apologized. Quiet, tired. I made a mistake. It's never innocent. Stealing something that doesn't belong to you, I said. She nodded, left. I didn't believe her entirely. But maybe she had learned. My porch was peace that night. Tea in hand, sun descending. No spikes, no wires, only peace. Hardwired by me, neighbors waved, kids biked freedom. Vanessa was finished, unplugged forever.